Hey guys, so we're going to be covering the week of October 19th right now. So what we got going on Monday is the strength is going to be hang power cleans and hang squat cleans. It'll be a little complex right there. Beginner is going to be hang power cleans, sets of three. With the Metcon today, we are going to be doing CrossFit Total the next day, so we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to make sure that you guys are somewhat fresh going into that. So the Metcon is pretty straightforward. It's a conditioning piece, but still don't discount this. So if you're looking at this and saying that's too easy, I don't want to come in, just go harder on it, and it will be definitely great for your conditioning. So what it is a 1,000 meter row, rest 5 minutes, and then another 1,000 meter row after that. When you do this properly, you should see a slight decrease on your second row. If you do better on your second row, it really just means you didn't go hard enough when you did your first one. Also, you should be able to speed up towards the end. If you go too hard out of the gate and you notice that you're just declining with your split time as you go on, you didn't really pace this properly. There is some sort of pacing aspect that you need to think about when you're doing this. A 1,000 meter row should be in the vicinity of 3-4 minutes. So you need to make sure that when you're doing this, you don't go hard for the first minute and then just die off for the rest of it. So plan your split times accordingly on this workout for that day. Tuesday is CrossFit Total, so we are doing variations on that if you're newer to the gym. So if you haven't been what we call training age of more than 6 months, meaning you've been training for 6 months, not doing some sort of like bodybuilding routine or running marathons, and then you come in here and you've been here for 2 months, that is not your training age with us. So we want to make sure that you've been with us or been lifting weights in a sense properly for a minimum of 6 months. Then you're going to be able to either go into intermediate or advanced. You can see the differences here. It's just either you're going to do ones or threes for those levels. Beginner is going to be hitting five. So if you're relatively new, I want you guys figuring out your 5 rep max with perfect form, not worrying about actually having a true 1 rep max, because you can't really figure that out when you're a beginner. It's not really possible, or nor do we want to take you to that level. This is a great way to gauge where you are currently, so that when we do use the chart in class to figure out what level you are, this is what you're going to refer back to. Note that it is going to take a little bit longer than normal to do these lifts, so you're going to come in, there'll be a structured workout on the board that you're going to be going through by yourself. The coach will be there to assist you if you need it, but this isn't a normal day in the gym. We do this every couple months just to do a test day. So make sure that you're planning a little bit longer than the hour to be here. If you're doing the sets of fives and you're new, you may only need the hour, but if you're doing the sets of ones, then you will need longer than that. So it's pretty straightforward. It's just a back squat, then it's a shoulder press, and it's a deadlift in that order. So you do have to do things in that order and make sure you're not deviating from that. So we'll start with your deadlift. On Wednesday, what we're doing is push presses. You see the rep ranges here, and then GHD sit-ups. Been a little bit of time since I programmed GHD sit-ups, so just be smart with your rep ranges. If you're newer and you've never done GHD sit-ups, we don't want to see you going past that 90-degree level. So the coach will kind of enforce that during class and make sure you're doing this properly. Again, you never really feel these during class, but you always feel it after if you've done these properly. So you'll know when you've done a big set and then 2 days later you feel your abs on fire. So that's a good thing that we want to be feeling. Metcon there is a 10-minute AMRAP, pretty basic on this level. I've told the coaches to do, what I want to see happen is we're gonna, instead of just going to ring rows all the time, some of you guys are going to be reverting to pull-ups from a bar in the rack. So you're going to be doing kind of half body weight pull-ups, but your feet are on the ground assisting you to do those movements. So there's no bands allowed for this one when you're doing that pull during the AMRAP there. Sorry. On Thursday, what we have is 3 different levels of snatches, so either touch and go, power, or hang power. The only way that you're going to be doing touch and go is if your form is really dialed in on that. So don't even think about hitting touch and go unless you have that confidence level. You can do power, you can do squat, really whatever you feel like doing. Ideally, if you're at touch and go and you're at that level, then definitely try to hit the squat snatches. And then it sets a 3 there. During your rest, so it's A1, A2, you're going to be doing max effort rope climbs in 1 minute. So when you're doing this, if you have rope climbs, awesome. If you don't, we're going to be working on the strict knee raises and get you eventually to be able to do the rope climbs. Your Metcon this day is going to be a 16-minute EMOM of 3 hang power snatches. Your score is going to be your total weight lifted, so there's no prescribed weight for this. You're going to choose, similar to what we did on the grand opening and the 5-year anniversary a couple weeks back. You only get 3 attempts per round. If you fail an attempt, it's 0. So you need to kind of figure out where you want to be and how much weight you want to lift over those 16 minutes. It's an accumulation of all your reps combined. And you cannot change your weight as time goes on. So you can't start out light and change it or vice versa. So make sure you're picking weight accordingly and going as heavy as possible with good form. On Friday, we're going to be doing all back squats, finish those up, and then going on to dumbbell step-ups. It's been a little bit of time since I programmed this. The coach will have a couple notes for you guys that I want you guys to follow. A couple things such as you're not going to be picking a box that when you're lifting your leg up to step on the box that your thigh is past 90 degrees, so make sure you're not using a 24-inch box to do this. You're going to do it all on the one side for the 8 reps and then finish that up, then do the 8 on the other side before you finish that full set there. Your Metcon is going to be a 10-minute EMOM, so 2 back squats at 85% of 1 RM. I suggest the beginners actually go a little bit higher just because you're going to be able to do that. So maybe 90% of your 1 RM, and then you're going to have a 1-minute rest after the 10-minute EMOM, and then you're going to go directly into Tabata sit-ups. So that's a 4-minute workout. Lowest score is your final score for that. So that's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for 8 rounds. On Saturday, what we're going to be doing is working on cleans again. So it's going to be a squat, clean, and jerk. You'll see the different versions here. Your Metcon is going to be 5 rounds for time. It's going to be a form of 6 clean and jerks and 6 muscle ups, or the broken down version for the different levels that you can see on the screen. The key for that is just constantly move. Make sure you're picking the right level for yourself. I have it as chest to bar pull-ups. You can do regular pull-ups. That's completely fine if you're not ready for chest to bar. Just make sure that you're not getting stuck on one of those movements and you're staring at the rings, you're staring at the pull-up bar, whatever it may be. Just make sure you're constantly moving. That'll be it for this week, and we will see you guys in the gym.